This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Broadcasting to the world, or right around the corner. How many other cliches can we use to open up the podcast today?
Just from your backyard.
From your backyard or your back porch.
There you go, back porch. I like that
one. It's me and her. Her and me.
Her and I.
It's us. Monday, September 11th. Really an interesting discussion. You were busy. Of course, I'm not busy after the show. I got nothing going on. And we were having the discussion about how relevant 9/11 still is as a radio topic.
I don't think just as a radio topic, but yes. I get what
as
you're
a
saying.
topic overall, especially in Canada. So the word relevant, like how relevant is it? And my answer is always the same on things like that. It's as relevant as you want to make it. If you can make it an extremely relevant discussion, I can make paper clips relevant. That's how good we are. If we want to, we can find a way.
And to that point, with Americans being Americans, it will always be relevant in the States. They will celebrate today. And I say celebrate, not in the traditional sense. They will commemorate the day. They will mark the day. They won't let the day pass without some sort of acknowledgement. And because of our proximity to the U.S., I think it will always remain relevant for us too. Do you think it's as relative in Europe?
Relevant? No, I don't think so at all.
Do you think they, because I was just talking about it in my voice track here, my break, saying that when you say September 11th, to me, there's a weight to it.
Sure.
There's a heaviness to it.
People know.
Exactly. No matter, it's been 22 years, and you still say September 11th. And immediately, for most of us, majority of the population, I'd say, we go back.
Yeah. You say 9/11, we know what that means. Yeah.
And especially the people who have lived through it, there's a weight to it, as you said, of relevance. But I am curious if that's the case. I think people around the world know what it is, but do they mark it like North Americans do? Any
more than, November 22nd, 1963 was the day Kennedy was assassinated. And everybody talked about it.
And you were alive for that, but it doesn't have the weight for you.
Doesn't have any weight. I was only 9 months. Had nothing to do with it.
You were alive, though.
I was here the whole time. And President...
so for that's more of a historical event for you, obviously.
Right. And Pearl Harbor was a day that lived in infamy. But most Americans don't know that was December 7th, 1941. It is for those that lived through it. But historically, it becomes another moment in history. Was it
most of the people
tragic,
who have lived through it
incredibly tragic and
have passed on, though, or starting to, or
almost quarter of a century. So we know that in 2026 for the 25th, it becomes a little bit larger, like numbers are. When it becomes 25 years. But, and they asked, what'd you guys do to talk about? Yeah, we talked about it because there's a ceremony here in Belleville. And there were Belleville
so we talked about that.
First responders that went to New York. So there is a local relevance to it. And that's how we discuss it. Yeah.
But still a big day. And again, my point with bringing it up even during my show was the fact that it's one of those things, right or wrong, I always want to watch. I always want to read. I always want to
I know
learn more.
Know what you mean.
About why, about who, the day of, how people were, what they saw, what they heard. There's this fascination to it that is so, it draws you in. And it's when, even if it's February and I see something on TV, it's like,
documentary comes out,
I have to sit and watch it.
I want
to.
I'm always drawn to what's next. And if it were, let's say in 2026, if they were to do a 25th, I don't need to go back and see all that. I want to know, here's the 25th. Here's what children of those here's what they're doing. Here's the one who was...
Again, incredibly interesting.
Right, because they were 2 years old when a parent died. I'm making it up now. But now at 27, they grew up to become a firefighter because... where'd the story go? What's the new relevance now?
See, I can relive it
year
after year, because even 22 years later, I can still...
Yeah. I'm always drawn by what, and not that I ignore that. I've seen that. I want the new story. And that's what I would always seek out. Or, the widows or widowers, and the fewer of them that are, and their thoughts now, so much like, tell me what I haven't heard. Yeah, tell me what I don't know about what's happened since, how the story evolves.
Well, the individual, the personalized stories, you're always going to have those.
Yeah.
But do you think my question is always, is there anything that's come to light since, in general, like the why, as to why it happened? 22 years later, is there any more information we don't know?
Yeah.
And will that come out? The personal stories I find those nice to hear. I want them to be nice. I want the positive.
You want a clearer story, official story. You want a clearer official story.
Well, there's still so many, there's a lot of speculation around it, right? Yeah. And you get
it's great conspiracy theories. There's so many of them,
the guys who believe the conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So that's why I wonder, is there anything we're still missing when it comes to what actually happened that day?
Yeah.
The personal stories, yes, are always great to hear and very fascinating. And you're rooting for them because you want them to do well. You want to see where they are 22 years later.
And maybe I'm the only one on the planet, and it's okay if you listen to this and then you want to reach out to me and call me a moron that I am. I don't think I'm owed the official story, because there are absolutely serious state, not secrets, but, for security reasons, that we don't have to know everything.
No, you're right.
I buy that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, then you're just a government shill. No, I understand that there are very large interglobal...
There are things above my pay grade that I don't need to or probably should know.
Yeah, what you're saying isn't correct, but I can't tell you what really happened. Mm-hmm. Oh, what are you hiding? I get you're not hiding anything, because maybe we prevented a war because you didn't know everything. And... sometimes it's not good to know everything. So in that case, I'm probably okay. I think a lot of stuff had to happen in the shadows after, because they ended up going to Iraq and turned out that was a lie. So there's just a lot of things that go on, a lot of moving parts in a lot of countries I don't want to piss off. And maybe part of that is you have to wash your hands of it and walk away, and that makes you the better person. And in the long run, it saves lives. I don't know.
But that's just it.
I don't know.
It's all, as you said, there's so many working pieces.
Yeah.
That were leading up to it.
Yeah.
That happened that day, and that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
That it is. And that's the fascination. That's the interest. That's the draw. It's just, it's this huge thing.
Right.
This event. And it wasn't just one day, but it's the one day that everybody hangs on to.
Right. It's the culmination of the first attack on American soil, and hopefully the last. But
22 years.
22 years.
It's amazing to think it's been that long.
So to all the first responders, thanks for everything you do every day, because it sure showed up how important they were on that day.
They didn't hesitate going into those buildings.
For sure. That's right. A lot of people running out, handful of heroes running in, climbing up the stairs, not coming down the stairs.
And continued to run to New York to help. So
good on you. Thank you very much.
Incredible.
Also, a big weekend coming up for the Belleville General Hospital Foundation is the annual Gala. We had Executive Director Steve Cook on the show this morning. Just a little segment of it, talking about how much everybody loves it. Full podcast for him now. If you would like to get some tickets, as he said, it's worth giving them a call, because everybody really looks forward to this gala.
Oh, it's huge. And you know what? The community always comes out in force and rallies, and we as a team really look forward to it. You'll know, Mark, you've done enough of these events. I mean, 24th year now this year. It's incredible.
I was wondering how long the gala had been going on.
It's a milestone, isn't it, to be honest, in the community. I think people really put it on their calendar. They turn up, they like to get dressed up, and they look forward to some quality entertainment.
We've got ourselves a pretty good size, but there are still a few seats available.
Still a few, yeah. We cap it at 250, so we've hit that milestone. But to be honest, it's for the hospital. It's about raising money, so
exactly.
We can always squeeze a table or two in more, I'm sure. So tickets are still available.
What about sponsorship?
Get my seat.
Do you know what? Sponsorship this year...
Can you ask again? I'll let me out.
What about sponsorship, Steve?
Do you know what? Sponsorship this year has been absolutely unreal. I mean, we had a big event last year raising $725,000, which we thought was incredible. But yeah, just to give you a comparison, I mean, last year, we did about $90,000 in sponsorship, and this year we've hit 143. Actually.
Oh my gosh!
That's incredible.
It's big, that, isn't it? I mean, the community. I think again, look, the past 2 years, it's been a real spectacle. We've gone down that route of really trying to drive the guest experience, and thankfully the businesses have backed us as well.
Steve Cook, the GE Executive Director of the Belleville General Hospital Foundation. Moulin Rouge, the theme, the grand, the location. How much work's going into making that experience huge this year?
We're really looking forward to it. I mean, Moulin Rouge, it's a great theme. Looking forward to seeing everyone's attire, although I imagine the majority will be formal on the night and everybody always looks dressed to the nines. But yeah, it's a big task behind the scenes. The guys in the office are working hard, and we have an incredible event management company supporting us as well. And look, the guys at the Grand, Pauline there as well, are a pleasure to work with.
You mentioned how many look forward to this. They really do. This has become one of those annual events that people do mark on their calendars specifically to come to this and support the hospital. The excitement around it, has it starting to build? Are you starting to see that in the community?
Do you know what? What's been a great addition is last year we had Montreal Rhapsody Orchestra, and they were phenomenal, a 10-piece band. And to be honest, I've never seen the dance floor that packed. And then this year we, on a recommendation, we've brought in You Request Live. Again, they've performed everywhere and anywhere. A lot of the larger urban kind of GTA hospitals as well. So one of my friends said, "Look, check these guys out." So we've brought them in, and I think they're promising a big night, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a full night because the fundraising is a big part of it to get this to $700,000. I know I'm going to be doing the Fund a Need again. What other things we have? Do we have silent auctions? What should people know when they get there?
Yeah, so looking forward to having you back, to be honest, driving that. So I know it's always a magical part of the evening watching everybody raise their paddles. And of course, we've got Kristen Crowe this year telling us all about her kind of, healthcare journey as well. It's quite touching, to be honest. We've been spending quite a bit of time with Kristen over the past few weeks, filming out and about in the community, learning more about, her life and her story since her first kind of diagnosis back in 2009. But aside from that, on the night, the silent auction online launches Monday at 9 a.m, so that'll be amazing. Over 150 items. So kudos to the community again for stepping up and donating at will. And then on the night again, some incredible prizes and donations in terms of the live auction, which will of course be hosted by Boyd Sullivan.
And that's entertainment.
Quite an evening, you and Boyd up there together.
And I get to talk after Kristen Crowe, so Kristen Crowe makes my job very easy.
Now explain, Mark, maybe your part of it, because as Steve said, yes, you have been a part of the gala these last few years. The Fund a Need aspect of the evening. The two of you talk about that, please.
That's straight philanthropy. That goes right to the bottom line. Kristen is going to talk about the importance of the community backing the equipment, because the government doesn't pay for the equipment. If we want equipment, the community funds it. So she tells us the reasons why. She's sort of the face of it, and then it's my job to ask people to raise their paddle. And if she does a good job and I do a good job, one year we did $400,000, Steve, if I remember.
Do you know what? I mean, there's been so many great nights, to be honest.
Yeah.
One of the things that always sticks out to me, and you were amazing, was I remember the panic during the pandemic, actually, when, do you remember when you came in and we broadcast from the education centre and we did the online virtual gala?
Yeah, we did a 1 hour
We wheeled a ventilator in, because that was the buzzword at the time. And again, amazing. And you never know, do you, how these things are going to go. So when everybody starts stepping up, it's always a great thing to see.
We did it for an hour and we raised $120,000.
Which is amazing during the pandemic.
Online as well,
Saturday night. This community loves to support the hospital.
Well, and you brought up a good point, because Steve, as listeners they need to be reminded, the government does not support the equipment. That's supported by you. That's how we get the equipment here, is by the community.
Supported by us, yeah. And look, we work in partnership with Quinte Health every year, so we always try and fulfill all the critical A items on their replacement equipment list annually, which can soon mount up. Our equipment pledge this year is $1.82 million. And of course, we try hard to fulfill all those capital needs as well. So the community will have seen us raising money for the past past couple of years towards the nuclear medicine camera replacement project, which is nearing the end now. I think they're just about to go to RFP for that. So our big focus, to be honest, especially with our Lotto Super Draws, has been the regional oncology clinic, which again will be a primary focus on the night for the gala this year, because those guys, especially having 4 oncologists now, do an incredible job.
So important in the community. Saturday, September 16th, the annual Belleville General Hospital fundraising gala, Moulin Rouge. Bring a card, a little plastic on it, and make your donations, because it does so much good in the community. Steve Cook, Executive Director, thanks, man. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the support, and thanks for having me on. Check
their website as well for, as he mentioned, the silent auction items that are going to be available all week.
You can get your bids in there.
And I always love that, because I'm such a jerk.
When does it close? It closes after the gala, right? It goes until Sunday?
I think it's one of those things, they get a chance to pump it a little bit.
Because it's not announced during the gala. The gala is for the Fund a Need. And is it Fund a Need? I'm sorry. Yes. I always want to say Feed the Need, but it's Fund the Need.
Fund the Need,
And there's an auction that night, too, correct?
Boyd's at it.
So, you and Boyd up on stage, it's wow. That in itself, folks, will be entertainment.
Brothers
worth the price of admission.
From another mother. Boyd Sullivan and me, 2 people who have never found a microphone they didn't like.
So true.
Let's go. Let's do this.
You want me to say something? Sure.
Yeah, you talk now.
Okay, let's go.
No, I'll just keep talking.
But both very, very good at what you do as well. Boyd, incredible at auctioneering, and you with the Fund a Need. It's
fun.
It's
important, but it's
your track record has been pretty impressive, Mark.
We'll see what happens. Maybe this will be the weekend that I flounder and don't know what to talk about.
No, you'll put on a show. You'll put on a good show. Do you have what you're good at? Do you know what you're going to say yet?
Yeah, I do.
Of course you do.
And the thing is, without giving it away, I'm totally going to give it away, it's because it's Kristen Crow who's talking. Kristen Crow is a business owner. Kristen Crow is a big swinger in the Rotary Club. Kristen Crow is a guardian angel.
She's incredible. She's superwoman. She is. She's just amazing.
And she's got cancer.
Yep.
So you can easily then draw the line to it can happen to anybody. But the real line is, but can you keep doing what you did before, which was be a leader, champion causes, be a role model, put yourself out there so others can achieve. And now she's doing it with her healthcare journey. And how do I possibly step up and say something with my mouth to your ears that your eyes just didn't see? Like, what could I possibly add to Kristen Crow saying, I'm one of you, we're us. I always sit out there and give, and now it's me. I don't know.
That right there will be,
So at some point I got to put that into words, or you know what my fear is? That's how it's going to come out Saturday. Guys,
well, you're following her. So that's the whole point.
Yeah.
The people speak, and then you get up there. You're like, okay.
And not that the other ones aren't incredible stories, but you obviously you don't know them. It is very touching. It's not a personal reaction. Now it is.
It's Kristen Crow. Everybody knows.
Like we've all gone shoulder to shoulder in so many things.
She's been involved in so much and done so much for this community. And as you just pointed out, she usually is sitting right down there, involved with this gala. And now she's sharing her story, which is brave enough in itself and incredibly strong to get up there and do that. But how those people that are sitting in that crowd don't recognize that, and don't give.
So
you'll do it, and I can't wait to hear what you say.
I'll figure it out. 4:30 on the drive.
No doubt. But you know what? Those are the best.
Yeah.
It'll just come to you.
And the nice thing is that I'll allow myself to just let it percolate all week. I don't panic that what if I don't come up with something? Could you imagine me not coming up with something?
Yeah. Mark is never lost for words.
You know what the training is? We have 3 hours every day. If I'm worried about what we were going to talk about the next day, I would never sleep.
Oh, I know.
I know when we come in, we're going to have stuff.
Not everything is planned.
Right. But
down to some mornings are. And it is nice to have those mornings where everything's slotted in.
We know what we're going to do.
But I find the most fun are the mornings where it's not.
Got a lot of gaps here.
And we kind of go by the seat of our pants. Those are the most interesting. But you're right. It's if if I worried about that the night before, I'd never sleep. And I have a hard time sleeping now, so I don't need that.
So
you will be fine.
Some galas, I do kind of worry about it a little bit. I don't know.
For about 10 minutes and then move on.
No, but this one, it's just...
Well, you've done this before.
Yeah.
And not that it's old hat or not that you don't put the effort in, but you're comfortable enough, I would say.
Oh, yeah. No,
to get in front of these people and be able to talk to them and relate.
That's never the concern. That's never the concern ever.
But you're comfortable enough with this group in this atmosphere to just let it all out. And I'm sure whatever you say will be fine. You and Boyd will go back and forth. It'll be great.
When I'm trying to think of what to say, it's in my brain, it's in my head. This one I know has to 100% come from the heart.
And it will.
And I can't fake it because I don't have a heart. I don't know.
Oh, stop that.
I don't know how to do that. Because it's got to be good. It's got to be good. So,
and it'll be great.
So if you're going Saturday, please pity me and raise your paddle early.
Okay, that's a good way to go. You should do that. Just ask for the pity vote. Yeah.
I have no shame. I will do whatever it takes to raise money. Raise money.
And that's why they have you do it.
For the hospital. I have no shame. I'll do whatever it takes to raise the money. So.
And I imagine with it being Kristen, it's going to be. It could be record breaking this year.
I hope it will be.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So she's not the only one speaking then. There'll be others?
There are a few others. Oh, yeah. They talk about, sponsorships and the whole but there's always sort of that one story.
That's kind of what I thought, that there was one individual or story that will be, that will lead into you but the big one.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, Terry Callahan was one a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
The police chief's wife. I know Patricia Guernsey's sister 1 year. There was somebody who was a nurse at the hospital. Her name escapes me, and I really apologize because she was lovely and effervescent. And you think, when you have cancer, you're not supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to be depressed all the time, right?
So it's always a cancer patient.
It has been not always cancer, but as we've been raising money for nuclear medicine.
But someone who has had to use.
That's right. The services and what it means to them to have local healthcare and not have to. The first time I did it, when it was we renamed the Douglas McIntosh. It was before it was named after Dr. McIntosh. God bless his soul. What a wonderful man. I took it that because everybody, if you had cancer, you had to go to Kingston. Mm-hmm. Or you had to go to Peterborough, or you had to go somewhere else. Buffalo, for some cases, or Toronto, Ottawa. We couldn't do it here. So I started by saying that in a sports vein, fighting cancer is always a road game. We never get to have a home game. Mm-hmm. Always a road game. So we need a new team. So everybody that raised their paddle got to come up because now you were on the team because we're going to make this a home game. We're going to build an arena to fight cancer at the hospital. So that was my first one, and that went pretty well. The second one, we had to raise so much money. No, actually, it turned out we wanted to raise so much money, and we actually started to exceed it, that somebody came up and whispered in my ear, if we raise $25,000 more, we're going to have enough money to name it after Doug McIntosh. Because so once I said that, paddles went up. So that was so you talk about hit it out of the park. What a night that was. Mm-hmm. Dance floor wasn't empty. Bar wasn't empty. People just had a great time because we did what we wanted to do. We raised money for the local one and named it after the guy who championed it. So that was great. So every year gets bigger and bigger that way. So to have somebody like Kristen now brings it back to, people in the room. People in the room.
And it is always one of your own, but she truly is one of your own.
Yeah, who champions causes, who gets behind it, who volunteers, who makes these things happen.
She puts her money where her mouth is. Yeah. And she's not afraid to do it.
Not afraid. And puts her time in and her care and her effort and her business and her family. And for sure.
She puts it all out there.
Oh, my gosh. So Saturday is going to be
a great night.
It is. It's going to be a very, very special night.
And even though Steve did say, you know what, we do aim to have these tables filled, we can always add more.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate. If you want to go, get a ticket. They will get you in there.
Hey, if I have to give up my dinner because somebody wants to spend $200, I'll stand outside. I'll wait. I don't care. That's $200 more. Why do I
just
need
call me in when you want me on the stage.
Yeah, I don't need a meal if $200 can go to the hospital to give to somebody else. Oh, wait. Oh, my gosh. For sure. That's why I'm committed. I'll do it. Yeah. It's one of the great causes. So, anyway, that's going to be Saturday night. We're going to play more little bits of that throughout the morning show.
Throughout the week, yep.
Just reminding everybody that it's going to be a big fundraiser coming up on the weekend. And also, Vicky Samaras is going to be with us here on the podcast tomorrow and on the show tomorrow.
I was going to say, along with Steve, it's quite a week. We've got a lot
got a ton of people coming up.
So yes, Vicky tomorrow, because the Terry Fox run is also this weekend on Sunday. Chief Callahan's going to join us this week because they have an open forum. If you have an opinion or a thought, this is where the opportunity is, Thursday night. So they tried to do this last year.
I think it was like 4 or 5 years.
Was it 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, they wanted to work on a strategic plan and get public input.
And 2 people showed up.
Everybody has an opinion about policing.
Exactly.
Here's your chance to say something. Mm-hmm. Not a sting operation, everybody.
No, they want your opinion. They want you to. They want your opinion. They want your perspective.
Yep.
Because as we know from Chief Callahan, it's all about building those relationships.
Yeah.
So they don't want to just go ahead and do things without talking to the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So it's coming up Thursday night. He's going to join us tomorrow with Vicky and tell us all about it and how you can. Don't miss it this time.
Yeah.
More than 2 people. Minnie's back, Minnie Verberg. We're going to check in with her. And Alex Gallagher from Shannonville.
Got a lot of stuff
It's a loaded week.
It really is.
It's a really loaded week.
It really is. So thanks for hanging around on the podcast today. Join us tomorrow morning for, again,